Well, we got something a little bit interesting here today. So we got a little cabinet we built, a couple pieces of granite for the top. They weren't the right size, so we built a wood frame around it, and then we're gonna pour epoxy over it to make a smooth, flat surface. So we don't do epoxy very often, but every once in a while we do. I'll grab my stuff here, a mixer. Somewhere I got a container for mixing that in. So we got a tent built here so we can keep the dust off. Here's my container. I'd started to pour a little bit the other day and then realized I didn't have near enough, so I had to order some more up. So we're gonna get that mixed and get her poured on there. It's kind of we have to build the tent for it because this stuff has to be dust proof for 72 hours. It takes a long time to dry it all, get any kind of a skin on it. So we'll get her poured on, let it sit over the weekend under a tent, and hopefully by next week it'll be dry and ready to go. Gotta get all the dust out of there. If we have any dust, it'll get into the epoxy, and then it'll be floating around in the middle of the epoxy, and you'll see it forever and not be able to get it out. So we're using liquid glass for this epoxy. The biggest reason is this: you can pour it thick. A lot of the epoxies you can only pour 1/8 of an inch thick at a time or something, and we need to pour it in there pretty thick. So this you can pour up to 4 inches thick if you need to, and then you gotta mix it properly. 1 part of this and 2 parts of that. And you're supposed to mix it for 3 minutes. And if I don't set a timer, I'll mix it for 30 seconds. I think that seems like 3 minutes. Go ahead and take your nap, get a Pepsi, have a hot dog, eat your candy bar. When you get done, we'll still be here mixing round and round and round. Set these up, you want to make sure these are completely dead level because it's liquid, so it's going to go to a level. So we had a little bit of a leak over here, so that's now sealed up. We're going to pour it in, going to get it all full. It'll run over the edge and it'll coat this edge down here as well. Once it's all hard and dry, we'll flip it over and grind the bottom, get all the drips off the bottom edge. So it should be level. If it's not, we can level it up a little bit after we get it poured in there. So I'm going to blow that off real quick, make sure there's no dust on there. Now here's the part where it gets really, really technical. You dump it in. Now you watch that, it'll just all flow out. It'll find its own level. It's a very slow drying, so you don't have to worry about it getting a ridge or anything. And while it's doing that, we're gonna go mix up our next batch. So we can just pour the rest in now. We did half of it the first time. Get the other half now. We're gonna give this another pour. I don't know if this is gonna be enough or not. I'm gonna find out here in a second. Oh, we're almost there. Got a little bit to go there yet. So, yep, we're gonna mix up one more batch. Hopefully it'll do her. Oh, we got something in there. Got some junk in there. Right there. Oh, we'll see if we can dig it out. This is the most used tool in the shop. It's a Leatherman, not a sponsor. They probably should be. Use them all the time. So, spec is sinking. Got it, it's on there. You can put lots of cool things in here. We've done them with fish hooks, coins, whatever. You can put all kinds of things into the epoxy and bury it in there. Someday I'm gonna make a giant table out of epoxy and have all kinds of cool stuff floating in it. That's just a fun, kind of a fun little project to do. You can drill holes, put something in the hole, fill it up with epoxy or whatever. So It's a little tricky to get it all to flow out sometimes, to get all the bubbles out of it. It always turns out pretty cool in the end. Level here a little bit, so we're pretty good that way. That's about right there. This end could use a little more, which means I might need to bring that end up a little bit, or else it just hasn't fluid here yet. So the original plan was to bring it up and let it run down over the edge. This is coming out so nice here. I might just keep it all within that and then just tape that off and finish that edge with lacquer. You gotta run over it with a little bit of heat. That'll pop all these little bubbles in here. It's pretty cool how fast it works. Doesn't take much. See how it ripples around just like water. It's just super thin, super runny at this point. You gotta be careful. You actually push it around with the heat gun quite a bit. So. I think we're going to call that good right there. We're going to let that dry for 72 hours for dust proof, and I'm not sure how long it is to be totally solid. So I'm going to pour this on here. I want to try a few experiments with it. We're going to let that flow out. It's just a work table. It just gets stuff stacked on anyway, so it doesn't matter. See how durability holds up, how it holds up to scratches. We might try to buff it a little bit, see if we can turn it into a matte finish instead of a gloss finish and whatever. So we'll see what happens, see how it turns out. We'll let you see that too.